One of the biggest mistakes people make is assuming that anyone who pulls away is an avoidant. Sometimes that is true, sometimes that's simply not true. Sometimes it simply is that they are not interested in you, right? And if you are someone who has spent weeks or maybe months searching, reading articles, or skimming through videos wondering which one it is, so this is a video for you. And by the end of the video, I'll show you key differences as to how can you identify if they are avoidant or they are simply not interested in you. So here's where people get confused, right? The behaviors of both the avoidant as well as the person who is disinterested both seem to overlap. You talk to them about where the future is going, and all you'll get is distance or sometimes silence. You open up emotionally and they pull away. You ask them you ask them or you tell them that you want closeness with them, and all they ask for is space. It's like a constant push and pull thing that keeps happening, right? So from the outside these behaviors can look exactly the same. The pattern is what we are interested in knowing, right? The intent is what matters, right? One person pulls away because they feel overwhelmed by the emotional closeness that you bring in the connection, because their nervous system cannot uh, hold that depth, or their nervous system feels overwhelmed. While for the other person it is much more like the other person does not want the emotional depth in the same place. Maybe an avoidant tries to distance themselves when you have had an emotional conversation with them, right? Maybe because you became more vulnerable, or they realize that they have shared a secret that they have not shared with anyone else. And maybe for them, they realize that they let someone into their inner world where they have not. They opened the door that was locked for years, right? And maybe that's the reason they begin creating distance, because intimacy feels overwhelming, right? Now compare this with someone who is simply not interested in you. They don't need emotional closeness to pull away from you. They simply are inconsistent from the beginning. Their efforts don't change whether or not intimacy is there or not there, because their main motive is never to get to know you deeply, and nor does you being intimate, or you being vulnerable with them change or lead them to pull away. They will simply pull away because that is what they were doing since day one, right? So here it's helpful for you to ask yourself a question: that does the distance appear after closeness, or has the distance always been there? So avoidance don't always disappear forever. As I mentioned, that they do want closeness. It's just that their nervous system does not know hold it in a better way without ruining the connection, or without running away, or without distancing themselves. So they do care. They may withdraw because they may need space, and they may become quieter. But somewhere or after some time, they may return back, right? It's like imagine having a kitten, right? Like the kitten is shy, the kitten needs its own space, and if you try to force the kitten into playing with you or into being in the same room with you, it is going to run away, or it might just attack you, or pounce on you, or just draw a boundary and then just leave the space, because it will only come to you when it wants to, not when you force it. It is similar, somewhere similar with an avoidant as well, right? They will check on you in their own time. They will reply when they feel is right, or when they have their emotional storm has calmed down. And they often reconnect when they have regulated themselves, right? They will never reply when in that space where their emotions are high, right? So the contact does happen, but it happens gradually. Versus when a person is disinterested in you, the contact happens when it's convenient, right? It happens when they are bored, when they want your attention, when they need something out of you, right? Think of it like a person just messaging you because they want to hook up, or because they just want to chill. It's just a surface level connection for them, and that's the reason they don't think that they need to constantly keep up with your pace emotionally, or like be or like make you happy or think about how you will feel if they pull away. So avoidance often struggle with expressing emotions, right? It is not something that will come naturally to them, but I'm sure that there are a lot of avoidance who know and who have learned gradually how to communicate, right? But yeah, so avoidance may show care through actions instead. Most of them, this is not generalizing that all of them will do it that way, right? But they end up remembering the details. They end up remembering help when you need it. Think of it as to how like they will remember the way you like coffee. They remember that you like it with sugar, not cream, right? They will remember as to how you get annoyed when you are basically when things don't go your way, right? And if you're having suppose if you send an avoidant a text saying that you are having a bad day, so it's not that they will always end up giving you that word of affirmation saying that it's okay, don't worry, tomorrow will be good. They may sometimes do that. Sometimes they might just offer you their support or their presence. Sometimes they'll just let you vent out, let you just talk about that thing until you feel relaxed, right? So their care shows up in indirect ways, but it's there. It's not that they are heartless in the way that media portrays them to be. It's just that they are trying their best to be there for a person who they care, but sometimes they lack that emotional language that is needed, right? Versus if you text the same thing to a person who's not interested in you, saying that hey, I've had a bad day, they will just be like, damn, that sounds bad. Or you will not even get a reply from them, or you will get a reply after some days. So, a relationship with an avoidant is bound to grow slowly, imperfectly, right? And the progress can be slow, no doubt, but it still exists, right? There are moments of vulnerability, there are small moments of trust. It's you are not meant to feel alone, though you might feel it sometimes when the emotions are definitely high and when you would like to, when you're having a challenging time trying to communicate your emotions. But the other times you would not feel alone in the connection, right? When months or years pass in a connection, you still feel or think that yeah, matlab, from the day one to now, if you compare the relationship, it has grown. From a seed it might have become a sapling, not a tree. I'm not saying it will become a tree. I mean, sure, if both have equally given into the relationship, it will definitely become a tree. But a sapling where care and nurture is being given a little by little, and it's progressing. But if you compare the same relationship dynamic as to where the relationship is going with a person who's not interested in you, there is no progress. There's no deep conversation. There is no increased vulnerability. There's no moment that you can point out towards, yeah, this is the moment where we started hitting off, or where we both knew that, yeah, it is where it is going. So, this might be an important question to ask yourself honestly, like, who is carrying the relationship? Uh, who is the one who is always trying to make plans, initiating conversation, trying to understand each other? If there's something difficult, if there's some challenging aspect in the relationship, who is trying to make amends? Who is the one trying to say sorry first? Right? And if every plan, every attempt to reconnect is coming from you, then here is where you have to draw a boundary and ask yourself, is this really worth it? Because even this is something that can happen from with either of them, right? It can happen when you are in a relationship or in a connection with an avoidant, and when you are in a connection or a relationship with a person who is not interested in you. Something that I often end up telling my clients as well is that the person can always, their words can lie, right? But their actions cannot. As to, they can keep telling you a lot of times that yeah, they care, yeah, they want to take things ahead, or yeah, I see a future with you, etc., etc. But do they make an active effort to show up? And does them showing up make you feel heard, supported, respected, and loved in the same way that you would like to, or not? right? So that is something that you'll have to introspect and know. If you are someone who is coming or relating more avoidant person, right? So this is what I would tell you, or I would recommend you, is that you cannot love someone into emotional readiness, right? You can create safety and offer patience, communicate gently with the avoidant, because here's one thing that you'll have to know is that avoidance often needs space, right, and autonomy, and like slow and steady is what wins the race with an avoidant, and consistency without the intensity tends to work with them, and without creating emotional urgency all the time, right? And small acknowledgements, small acts of acknowledgements or efforts to understand them, and calm communication along with clear boundaries is what will help you get a better understanding of your relationship with an avoidant, right? But all of these cannot come at a cost of your own well-being, because patience should not come at the cost of self-abandonment, right? And you cannot heal someone's wounds which they are unwilling to face, right? So this is what I would like to tell you. If deep down you sense that the person is simply not invested, so let this land gently. Someone not choosing you is not a reflection of your own worth. It is a reflection of their capacity, priorities, and emotional availability, right? Because you cannot stay in a connection or a dynamic that constantly confuses you or creates confusion, complexity in your life. Because sometimes the simplest explanation is that they are not willing to meet you the way you would like to be met, right? And in those moments, choosing yourself is the only best way to go ahead. On final thought, I would like to end this video saying that sometimes we spend so much of time trying to understand another person's behavior, their actions, uh, where they are coming from, etc., that that we never ask ourselves that one important question that we really should ask: is the relationship really giving me the consistency, safety, and the reciprocity that I need, right? Because understanding someone's attachment or understanding all these aspects and signs cannot automatically make them emotionally available or make them understand that, yeah, you are trying to make an effort to understand me, so here, this is where I change, right? You, because you deserve a relationship where you stand, where you don't have to constantly decode their mixed signals. If this video helped you understand attachment a little better, please consider liking and subscribing and letting me know what resonated with you. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.